Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. So today we are going to go to the kitchen and we are going to cook some rice. So I'm going to try and do a step-by-step video to show you guys how to make this rice. It's easy, simple, and honestly guys, mashallah, it tastes absolutely amazing. Right guys, so this is my outfit, scarf obviously, kaftan from Boohoo, and a sawar kameez from Pakistan. Right guys, we're in the kitchen now, so I'm going to go through what we've got, what ingredients we're going to be using, and how to make this rice. So just to start off with what we've got some ginger. My mum was adamant I use ginger and normally don't use ginger, but she cut it up for me and she was like, you got to use ginger. I was like, okay. So we got ginger, some butter, and some onions, and I've added some oil. So we're just going to let that cook through on a high heat. Right, just to go through some of the spices we're going to use, we're going to add some zira in a minute, and then we're going to add some Kashmiri chili and some haldi. One of these is my mum's secret spice mix. I think it's this one. Can you see they're both in salt, but this is my mum's secret spice mix. So I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of this, and then a tablespoon of salt, because we have, I think, a cup and a bit of rice. So that's what we're going to do. And then I've got some more ground spices here, which I am going to add in. Actually, no, these are not ground spices, my bad. These are some whole spices that we will add in as well. So you start off by adding the zira first, and then you can also add in the whole black peppers and the black clove at this time. Now with the zira, you're going to see that I don't actually measure out tablespoons or anything. I just sort of eyeball it. I just put it in my hand and then just chuck it in. But I would say use about 3 tablespoons of zira. And obviously make sure you mix everything well. You're going to be seeing this quite a lot, I think. I mix a lot. I forgot to mention the famous Maggi cube. We will be using this as well, so I'm going to add that in. And this is the clove that I was mentioning. That's what we're going to be using. There's lachi there as well, those big ones, but we're not going to be using that. I'm now adding in the haldi, and as you can see, it's an eyeball thing again. I just chuck it in the lid and add it in. I would say to you guys, so if you're using 2 cups of rice, I would say use about half a teaspoon of haldi. And then with the red chili powder as well, if again you're using 2 cups of rice, I would say use half a tablespoon of the Kashmiri red chili powder. What we're going to do is add a bit of water, because this is drying out a little bit. Once I added in some water, it's time to add in the spices. Now, I'm obviously using my mum's spice mix, but if you don't have that, you might use shan masalas or something like that. That's when you add that in. I was trying to figure out which one is the spice mix, because as you can see, we've put the spice mix in the salt bottle as well, so it was just a bit confusing. I was like, which one is it? But finally got it. And when it looks like that, we're ready to add the rice in. Now, we wash the rice a few times and then let it soak for about 20 minutes or so. Then I drain that water out, and then we're adding it in. Now, you obviously get this rice left here in the tub, which is like the leftover rice. What I do is, the tip is, if you know how many cups you use, for example, if you use 2 cups of rice, just add 4 cups of water in here and it will clear the rice off into the pot. So it saves you time, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to do now. And I just added a bit of extra water. Why not? Just had a few bits of rice sitting on the corner, so I just scooped them in. We then add in the salt, and I used a tablespoon of salt for 2 cups of rice, but I didn't like make a mountain of tablespoon of salt, if that makes sense. It was literally just like a flat surface of the tablespoon. I hope that makes sense. Now it's just the waiting game where we gotta let the rice boil over. This can take like 10 minutes or so, but what you have to do is wait for the rice to sort of rise to the top and see when the water is getting less and less, but I'll show you guys so you sort of understand. We've now got it on a high heat and we're going to let that come to a boil. If I show you what the rice looks like, this is what it looks like, but we need it to get a bit longer. Now you can see the rice is slowly coming to the top, but we just need to let it boil a little bit longer. And this is the stage where we want it at. If you can see, the rice is looking nicely cooked. What we're going to do now is just let it boil for another minute. We're then going to put it on a low heat and cover it for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm now at the kitchen because it was too hot, so we're basically going to let it simmer for about 15 minutes, and it's already been about 5, so we've got 10 minutes to go. So I've come in this room because it's a lot more cooler here and I'm too hot. So we're now going to check if the rice is done. I always get nervous at this point. I don't know why, but I just always do. And it's the moment of truth. Bismillah. Oh, mashallah, look at that. What we're going to do is give it a mix. You can see how juicy it's looking, guys. Like, it doesn't show up on the camera, but honestly, obviously you guys can say I'm biased, but I think these have turned out quite nice. I haven't even tried a bite yet. Let me have a bite first. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mashallah. Just finished eating and washed up. I'm now going to go in my room and just collapse because it's so hot. Let me know if you make this dish as well and how it turns out for you guys.